What up? What up? It's Mystics MMOs. So, hope you are having a good
Whichever.
day. I'm only here
Let's hope the
for a few
Jarrah you recovered
minutes.
will
I'm
give
just
us what we
messing
need to
around,
get
y'all.
stopped when
I
we
still have a
find
lot
that
of shit to
threat.
do. I'm on an alt today, because before shutdown and some other stuff I got on, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll go fuck with this, I'll go fuck with that, and because it's double. And this is just an alt, and it's double source marks. And I was like, man, I should get a couple source marks on this tune just for layer
Well
cost and
done.
some other
On
shit.
behalf of the people of
And because I got
Atlantis,
21
you have
tunes,
my
and I was
thanks.
like, fuck it. And nothing crazy, nothing crazy. Hold on. I hate that glitch with the cape when you switch out from that cape, but I hate that glitch. This is kind of what I'm running. This is going to be changing up slightly in the near future, but as of now, this is what I rock. Um, and yeah, I do use Solar Amplifier. I'll use Solar Amplifier over Omega pretty much every day of the week. I don't use razors. Um, I'm not interested in razors at the moment. If I were, maybe for like an alert battle healer, but I'll never take a battle healer in a raid. It'll never fucking happen. Maybe an alert, like a normal alert, but I can't see, you know, ever just battle healing, battle tanking, or battling anything on elite, especially like mechanic elites. No, I'll stick to traditional role. Thank you. But yeah, I just love the trolls being like da 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 da. It's like, listen, man, I'm not even competitive. I'm not. This was my casual game. This is my casual game. Meaning, I used to play hardcore other games, and I'd always come back to DC on and off for downtime. I didn't cover content. I covered a couple of things in the past for DC, nothing crazy, because I was mainly focused on ESO when I became a content creator because I didn't want to be a content creator. But because I was doing things that the community really couldn't understand, I was talked into doing it. And of course, I became very popular, hated, hated, and a lot of content creators made their names on trying to rag on me. But the community dubbed me the GOAT, even by a lot of other content creators. To them, I'm the GOAT. They'll say, no, man, you can't fuck with Mystic like that. Like, this dude came out with, the tank bomb build. This dude came out with, he had every healer of every class. This dude. And yeah, so I became the GOAT because I did the math, man. I just like to enjoy. Before I became a content creator, I enjoyed doing the math and doing what people didn't think was possible. And I'd always have people coming in, oh, you've never done this and you've never done that, and then I show them and I do it, and then they're like, and that's exactly what these little bitch haters are doing. Like, prove it, and then I come on and I do something, and then it's like, it's like, dude, this is why I don't give a fuck. It's never going to be good enough. No matter what you do, no matter how much they don't like being proven wrong. And to me, it's not an ego thing. I have a bigger ego in economics than in gaming because, yeah, do you know who I am? do you do you know who my family is? Like, I know more about economics than Ivy grads. And that's math. And I tell people, you ain't getting around what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, to say you're fucked is an understatement. Believe you in me. Believe you in me. And I was conditioned to understand that shit as a boy. So it was like, oh, oh shit, it caused me a lot of anxiety growing up, knowing what, the truth about the economic situation. And I just used to tell people, and I worked in the field at one time, and I told people, you really don't understand the amount of fuckery that's about to unfold. You really have no clue because you're an idiot, but that's fine. Ignorance is bliss. So, but yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I used to just come in here and just chill. This was my pretty much like that graphic thing's gonna. I think when I phase out, it kind of just goes away. Let me check. I think it does. But that graphic glitch when you switch out, they need to fix that. I love the cape. I made the first one look like a bear, like the Baron from Street Fighter. You know, that's kind of what I was going for. And then this is my tech Batman, but he's evil because I'm a villain. Not in real life, but in the game, I never, yeah, there we go. It's off. My tech bat. He's my camo bat. What's up, bitches? So, anyhow, yeah, there's the world. So, but there's only like a few content creators I actually like in this game. I like Multiverse because you can always go back into the episodes. Where was this? And I enjoy Multiverse for being able to always backtrack on, you know, episodes I might have missed, things I might, you know, have overlooked or trying to remember where they were. Multiverse is great for that. The only PvE content creator I really, really enjoy at this point is Jessica Rabbit because she's so fucking real. She's so real, and it being German, I have such an appreciation for that type of person who just rips the band-aid off, says it how it is, and doesn't sugarcoat shit. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. And she's not into the meta. She does what works. And at the end of the day, I think that's what you really got to get down to. What works. Oh, that's my alarm. But yeah, I think when you do that, there's a lot of things going for you. Don't try to fucking, keep playing to, what the meta dictates. Because like I said, I mean, I've called this, I've said the problem of it is meta clickbaiters and are toxic. They will say this is meta, and before there's even an update, before there's even a fucking change to anything, they'll discover something, and all of a sudden, oh my god, this is the new meta. There's been no changes, none. LV just proved that, even though he's not playing, but he came back in just to try out the new DLC. But he said that with water and electric. That's a prime example. That's a fucking prime example of what the shit I'm talking about. Like, if you were truly meta, which abbreviates as most effective tactic available, if you were truly the fucking meta, it wouldn't change unless there was an update. But there was no update, but miraculously it did change. Why? Because they're gatekeepers. You know what a gatekeeper does? Like, I just posted the stream. I don't use Constantine on DPS. Why? Because it doesn't benefit me to tell you that. It benefits the other player who's going to use you for doing that. Let me repeat that. It doesn't benefit you, it benefits the other player who's going to use you for doing that. See, the meta players want you to use something that benefits them. So when you drop Constantine, they get that buff. Now, if they drop the Constantine, well, they're just that stupid. I'm not. I'm going to throw down a DPS ally because it deals more damage. So who does Constantine benefit? You or the DPS? I even told the guy who even said it, the one fucking meta dude, his name starts with an M. I don't even remember majority of you bitches because you're that irrelevant to me. But he's the one who did the testing, and he's like, oh, it does more damage, it adds more damage to your abilities. Yes, but in a cumulative, It doesn't your cumulative DPS, which I'm a a firm believer in increasing the abilities, but you have to understand the math doesn't increase your overall damage compared to a DPS ally. You are losing DPS when you do that. So why in the fuck would I do that? I will steal your shit, drop my ally, and do more damage. And then you get butthurt because you just got beat because you listened to some dipshit. Not my fault. Not my fault. Stop chasing. Stop listening to gatekeepers, man. Stop. It's not doing you any good. Right? There are some truths. Like, for example, here, I think a majority of content creators will tell you to go with penetrating strikes because they're on your chest mod versus core, which is true. Penetration, there's very limited amounts of penetration in this game, right? So your attacks ignore 2% of the defense. But, if you have a knowledgeable controller who's not a buff troll and he's a debuffer, and he has the trinkets, the allies, and the artifacts that increases his defense cutting, to reduce the defense of your target, then your core strength will actually increase the damage because the amount of defense also diminishes. Right? It's funny how compounding effects work. Compounding effects work in both directions. Like, for example, with the economics. Elon Musk, the biggest welfare baby in history, and everybody's like, no, yeah, he is, because majority of his companies are subsidized or inflated by your investments. You can take a look at that. But yeah, so he's a welfare baby. Um, the biggest thing about it was, um, with him, you would think, oh my God, he's a trillionaire. 20 years ago, there was no such thing as even a multi-billionaire. 20, 30 years ago. And the thing about it is, you have to ask yourself, well, how does money come into creation? Through debt. That's how you have the deficit. 39 trillion. And then that gets, put into the economy. It's called trickle down economics for a reason. But what's even more scarier, because it's compounding, it's a compounding effect. There's actually more debt than money in circulation by like 19 trillion. It's because we're only at 23 trillion circulating, and we have 39, and then there's the 19 in perspective of debt that won't be made up. So those are potential unrealized losses. And when that happens, you see, deflationary conditions come into play because everything else has been inflated to compound or create the liquidity to begin with. I know it's complicated. It's very complicated, but that's why I game, because gaming is such an easier form of math for me than what I'm usually accustomed to. And of course, I know economics. And duh. I was 19 as an equity specialist. Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? But yeah, so there is a lot to take in, but you always have to keep in mind the numbers and the variables that are adjusting based on your configuration. Pretty much simple. So yeah, stop listening to the fucking gatekeepers or the meta players. They really don't know what they're talking about. They just stumble across something, or they'll copy somebody else's shit. There are some truths. So I'm not denouncing everything that they're saying, but like for skill points, like I don't sit there and grind whatever. Actually, I need to even adjust this. I was fucking off about the numbers. Once you lose, get 100%, because I should be at 50 with this too. This is just my ult. That even proves it. Once you're at a potential position, right, for trying to, let me get this. And that's why I don't really care to chase anything. Okay. So, I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm not going to do everything. I'm just showing you guys something. Okay, so once I have 100 in, that'll give me 10%. And I've already got a video going over this. Okay? Right. Now, the next point, I don't get a percentage. It's only base value increase. That means from this point on, if I allocate 350 points into it, right, I'm not going to even get 1% increase to my damage output. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Because my modifier up the top, and you'll see it, 10%, 10%, 10%, 1, those are all max now as far as the percentage value. Now everything else is base value, which is compounding, but what's the thing that carries up? The percentage value from the base. So even if I put 350 in and max it out, it's not even going to give me 1% increased DPS. So guess what? I'm better off allocating into something else. So at this point, if I put 5 points in to health, I'll get 1%. Right? Now if I go back and I add 10, I'll get an additional 1%. But guess what? It's now double. It's not 5 points for 1%. It's now 10. Because that's called a diminishing marginal return. So now I put in 10. And now it's going to be, guess what? 20. Right. For another 2%. So now I'll get 2%, but it's going to double up in the cost. So we'll do that. And now I'm at 25. Okay. Now, here's the deal. Chickadees. I'm thinking of the clown from In Living Color. Gather round, chickadees. So, anywho, I love that. I used to love that show growing up when I was a teenager, In Living Color. So if I add 15 more percent, right, then I'll be at 5%. And then, but it only maxes out. No, it's at 8%. All right. So because I can only go up to 10. So to get 2 more percent, I have to put another 100 in. Okay. I'm not going to. I'm just because I don't have skill points, but I'm just illustrating for you guys why diminishing marginal returns is a real thing. Why it's a real thing. It's real. You can't change it. You don't have to like it, but you can't change it. And that's the same thing with economics. You can believe that you live in capitalism, but without debt, you have no money being generated. And thus, you're SOL. So the people who have all the money, or the ergo, supposedly the wealth, first off, they're leveraged. Second, they're creating a bigger problem in their pursuit. Because to obtain more, you have to create more burden on everybody else. And yes, I would know a lot about it. Because, I'm descended, from that family. So yeah. Sucks to be you guys. It sucks! We have a saying in my family, sometimes less is more. My grandfather's like, duh. I was like, okay. So, yeah. But as Tupac would say, take what you need, but don't be greedy. May he rest in peace, the legend. Was definitely a mentor of mine in many ways. So, yeah. Good luck, y'all. And as always, death to the meta. Peace.